It is my great pleasure to introduce you to Ramesh and help you to get to know him. Ramesh was born in India and holds fellow memberships with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, as well as with the Association of International Accountants UK, along with a postgrad in management. He has lived and worked in 5 different countries, covering myriad industries and geographies, and therefore brings a wealth of experience to the table. His career started in India with Ernst & Young in audit and strategy consulting before moving to Oman, joining large conglomerates Inchcape plc and WJ Towell Group in finance leadership roles. His longest career tenure was a multi-locational 9 years with FedEx, in which he was responsible for their Middle East, Indian subcontinent and Africa regions, heading their financial planning and analysis functions and controller shop. His main accomplishments were the local rollout of Oracle's PeopleSoft ERP across the region, the outsourcing of various back-office activities, while also managing several M&A and JV initiatives, winning multiple awards for creating their best-in-class financial centre of excellence. During this time, FedEx also introduced a global business transformation project in which Ramesh took the lead for his region, requiring him to work cross-functionally, allowing him to evolve into a truly dynamic leader. Following on from this regional success, he was headhunted to become the CFO and country general manager for Ericsson, based in Bahrain. This was the start of his multi-dimensional leadership role that included the negotiation of further JVs, an SAP rollout and various business turnarounds, including renegotiating contracts and right-sizing cost structures. His next move was a similar multifaceted role, combining the CFO and GM functions with the 100-year-old UK-based manufacturer Volex plc. Ramesh was responsible for India and the Middle East region. Driven by a desire to apply best practice knowledge gained, Ramesh sought a new challenge and transitioned to a quasi-government organisation, the Bahrain International Circuit, home of Formula One and motorsport in the Middle East. The BIC needed an FD and CFO who would help professionalise the business model while driving commercial progress. Working alongside a high-profile and engaged board, Ramesh spent over 6 years in this exciting role and is now looking to share his experience with different organisations and broaden his leadership challenges. Ramesh, before I dive into your career experiences, please would you summarise what are the major lessons you've learned over the years?
Great question, David. I'll keep it simple. Grandmother's recipe. First and foremost, listen more, talk less, and take decisive action when the time comes. Second point I would say is, don't be fixated with title, money, climbing the corporate ladder. Be the best at what you do. Success will follow. Communication is very important. So be a great communicator, develop your emotional intelligence capabilities to connect with people. Be the leader who sets the ethical tone of your company, very important. Be up to date with technological changes, business trends, global trends, very important to remain relevant, and success will come. I would say these are the few very important lessons I have learned. I'm sharing it with you.
The world is full of disruption and turmoil. As this impacts the business landscape, what is your formula for success?
Yes, David, the business landscape is fast changing. There are 4 formulas that I can think of to success. One is, companies need to have a startup mindset, be very agile, even if they are a 100-year-old company and have a large global presence. Second would be, deliver exceptional customer experience at every touch point. I think that is vital at every touch point, not just in one touch point and have a different, indifferent experience in the second touch point. They all have to be consistent, and you have to do it day in and day out. The third would be companies need to kind of categorize themselves in a very broad way rather than in a narrow way. You should broadly categorize which products and offerings category you are in or which industry you are in. Example is a compass versus a roadmap. A compass gives you a direction where you need to go, whereas a roadmap is very precise. With this changing business environment, roadmaps are no longer valid. So a very good compass approach helps. And a very interesting story, somebody was mentioning that in 1930, had the railroad companies defined themselves as a transportation industry rather than railroad, the value proposition that they would have brought to the table would have been far significant and better. So again, it's all about defining what industry you are in, what is your offering in a broad manner helps. And the last is flat economy. Everybody is talking about recession or there is no real growth in the market. So how do you get business or how do you grow revenue in a flat economy? I think the lesson I have learned is when you try to add value by helping your customers solve their problem and give them continuously multiple points of value, that's when you really collaborate better with them and get more entrenched into their value chain. A very good example was I lived through, which was in a manufacturing company where we decided that we need to shift from a commoditized approach to a customer and move up the value chain and sit down with them in the design phase. So instead of talking to the procurement people of customers, we started talking to the marketing and business teams. And we started understanding the real pain points of each of our key strategic customers and started designing our offerings that will make them more successful, which will help our customer differentiate. I think it was a wonderful shift, and I have seen the benefits that comes up with that.
You have worked as CFO and GM with major international brands such as Volex PLC and Ericsson. How have you successfully collaborated with the board and peers alike?
Business is a team game. Once a CFO establishes his trust and credibility with his bosses, peers, and subordinates, then it becomes like a football game. A leader needs to be looking at who has the ball at that point. Whoever has the ball and is in a position to score a goal, he gets your full support. And the ball keeps changing. It moves from one person to the other. Your support has to be the same for the broader success of the team. And sometimes the ball comes to you and you will get the same support. So I think having this team game mindset has really helped me, and understanding that there is no individuals here. It's about the team and the broader success of the team.
Given the breadth of your experience leading market dominant companies in various countries, please talk about the lessons you have learned in managing diversity and inclusiveness.
Diversity and inclusiveness are very important in today's global world. Having worked with global multinationals like FedEx, Ericsson, Inchcape, EY, Volex, what I have learned is that diversity of nationality, diversity of gender, diversity of thought, they all really help the company understand its customers, its markets better. They are a big positive, big positive.
How do you retain talent as markets become more competitive?
Yes, retaining talent is a challenge, but a good challenge. Employee today wants to be empowered. He wants intellectual stimulation in his work. He wants to be heard. He wants rewards and recognition. He wants to see a diverse and inclusive work environment. And on this topic of diversity and inclusiveness, let me clarify. Diversity is, am I invited to the party? Inclusiveness is, having been invited, do I get a chance to dance in the party? Slight difference, but there is a difference. And then if all these are delivered, yes, retaining talent should not be a problem.
Roles within finance are constantly evolving. What are the main changes that you have experienced, and how did you help your team manage these transitions?
Yes, the CFO's role today is very strategic. He is seen as a strategic partner to the CEO, his right-hand man, and he has to play a big role in the value creation process for the company. So we all have seen the huge gap between the book value and the market value when you look at companies like Amazon, Google, Apple. Amazing, right? So the accounting machinery historically is very good at capturing the book value, the shareholder value, but has not really been that strong when it comes to getting into the granularity of market value, which is the intangibles, right? The intangible like customer loyalty, perception, leadership quality, innovation, R&D investments. So many elements come into the picture which enhance the value, the future promise of the company. Amazon works on the future promise of the company, right? So this is an area where finance has remained a little behind. Having said that, we have one more dimension that has come up. The automation, the introduction of ERPs, business analytics, AI is coming, robotics is coming, outsourcing. There are so many changes happening in the finance area that the future of finance is more and more pushed towards analytical and strategic support. Transactional support or operational activities, anything that can be automated will be automated. And that means the whole finance team needs to be different in terms of skill sets, outlook, energy levels. All these needs to be looked into when we build the finance team of the future. As a CFO, how do I bring this change, the full finance transformation process? That can be a discussion separately, but in a nutshell, I think the CFO has to lead by example. He needs to live that transformation. He needs to be that strategic advisor, the value creator, value integrator of the organization. And when the team sees that, automatically they will evolve. That's one way of looking at it. And of course, it's a broader topic, which maybe I can cover in a later forum.
Digital transformation is currently in vogue. What is your experience in this area?
Digital transformation is a much misunderstood area. A lot of companies feel that moving from analog to digital, putting up their services online, having a social media strategy, that constitutes digital transformation. No, there's a lot more there. In a nutshell, I would say to implement a good omni-channel customer connection, the data flow from your website into your mobile analytics, from there into your CRM, from there into your operational and services systems, from there into your finance system, all have to come together seamlessly to give the world-class customer experience. I think this is the holistic view one should have to understand what needs to transform.
You have worked with world-leading business transformation specialists, including McKinsey and Boston Group. Which company had the best approach and why?
I'll answer this in two components. Hiring external strategy consultant. How useful is that? Answer to that is, as long as you are very clear why you need them, the kind of briefing you give them, that will define the output that you will get out of them. The second part, business transformation as a program needs to be seen in three pillars. Transformation of the strategy, transformation of the company's values and culture and people aspects, and then the third, transformation of its capabilities, building the right enablers. I think all three needs to be seen together, and the change management process that is rolled out needs to address all three elements. Very, very important to make sure that all stakeholders and employees get to understand why there is a transformation, how do they gain out of the transformation, how will their career be positively affected by the transformation. If we can address all these questions, then you have a success in your hand. And the companies I have worked with, especially my experience with FedEx, Ericsson, has been that they actually saw through all these elements and they made sure that no shortcuts were taken. And that's why you saw the share value going up and you see the way they are growing the organization. So, yeah.
How important is a work-life balance to you, and how do you achieve that?
Work-life balance, David, do any of us have it? Jokes apart, I think it's better termed as work-life integration, because in your life cycle, it keeps changing, right? When you're young, new, into career, you devote a lot more time into work. You don't have much of a personal life. Then you get married, kids, they grow up, you devote a lot more towards the family, and that's where the emotional intelligence part evolve in you. And then the third element, once the kids are grown up, and everything is settled down, you want to then pursue your passion again, and if it is about creating excellence at work or helping the organization become the world's best, whatever is the goal you have, you can put more time into it. So I think the term is integration. How do you integrate your work and personal life? And as long as you're making the right choices at the right time, I think there is no stress or there is no imbalance. That has been my experience. You'll have to ask my wife whether that's true or not.
Thank you, Ramesh, and good luck.